If you think Massachusetts is only about smart and wealthy cities, try turning off the Boston route for a while. Behind the Ivy League image of Harvard University and the prosperous technology corridors lies another side of the state that rarely appears in travel brochures. Small towns that once thrived on textile mills, paper production, or heavy manufacturing now struggle with poverty rates nearly double the state average, household incomes trailing by tens of thousands of dollars, and in some cases, violent crime rates that are striking for communities of modest size. Some are isolated in the hills of Berkshire County. Others sit in old river valleys where industry faded long ago. A few are attempting reinvention through art and tourism, while others are still searching for direction after generations of factory workers disappeared. Ready to see the Massachusetts few people talk about? Let's begin where the pressure feels most visible. Southbridge is a classic example of a small industrial town that has not fully recovered from its manufacturing peak. Once known as the Eye of the Commonwealth for its optical and glass industries, the local economy was hit hard when factories closed. The population is about 18,000 people. The median household income is roughly $66,000, well below the Massachusetts average, which exceeds $90,000. The poverty rate approaches the mid-teens at around 15%, significant for a state known for relative affluence. In terms of public safety, both violent crime and property crime rates are higher than the average for small Massachusetts towns. It is not the most dangerous place in the state, but for a town of its size, the figures stand out. Some reports place crime levels at 3 to 4 times higher than those of affluent suburban communities in eastern Massachusetts. Fitchburg often feels like a city caught between two eras. In the 19th century, it was known as Paper City, a manufacturing center powered by the Nashua River and a strong railroad network. Today, reminders of that industrial strength remain in its brick mill buildings and former factory districts that are slowly being repurposed. With a population of about 42,000 people, Fitchburg is not a tiny town, but it is not a major Massachusetts city either. The poverty rate hovers around 15%, relatively high by state standards. Property crime and violent crime rates are above the state average, giving the city a rougher reputation compared to eastern suburban communities near Boston. Yet the contrast is notable. Fitchburg is home to Fitchburg State University, has direct MBTA commuter rail access to Boston, and offers nearby hiking and outdoor recreation. The potential exists, but it has not yet fully translated into strong economic momentum. Meanwhile, Pittsfield feels like a city standing somewhat alone in the western corner of Massachusetts. Scenic and quiet, but distant from the state's primary economic engines. Located in Berkshire County, it is the largest city in that mountainous region, with a population of around 42,000. Yet, being the largest in Berkshire does not automatically mean economic strength. Historically, Pittsfield was a major industrial hub. Companies such as General Electric once anchored the local economy. When large manufacturing operations declined and facilities closed, the impact lingered for decades. The median household income now sits around $70,000, far below the Massachusetts average. The poverty rate approaches 15%, high for a state known for prosperity. Pittsfield's greatest challenge is not only crime, but the combination of geographic isolation and economic stagnation. Reaching Boston requires a long drive, and that distance affects job access, investment flow, and long-term growth. North Adams feels like a smaller, quieter, and slightly more fragile version of Pittsfield. Located farther north in the Berkshire Mountains, the city has a population of about 12,400 people, small enough to feel intimate, yet large enough to carry the weight of its industrial history. Like Pittsfield, North Adams once relied heavily on textile and electronics manufacturing. When factories closed, the city's economic foundation weakened. The poverty rate approaches 20%, a significant figure for a state with one of the strongest economies in the United States. Ironically, North Adams is also home to Mass Mokier, one of the largest contemporary art museums in the country. Art arrived and tourists followed, yet the broader local economy continues to move slowly, as if it has not fully escaped the shadow of its industrial past. If North Adams feels geographically isolated in the mountains, Clinton sits much closer to central Massachusetts, yet it still carries the weight of an old industrial town that has not entirely reinvented itself. With a population of around 6,800 people, Clinton is neither a major city nor a tiny village. It exists somewhere in between, which makes it both interesting and complex. Its history is strong. The town grew rapidly in the 19th century thanks to textile manufacturing and the construction of the Wachusett Dam, which remains one of the largest dams in New England. But like many former mill towns, the decline of industry left lasting effects. Today, the median household income is around $80,000. The poverty rate sits in the lower double digits, and property crime rates tend to be higher than in small suburban towns near Boston. Clinton feels stable, yet still marked by its industrial transition. If Clinton feels like a partially recovered mill town, Chicopee is a larger and busier version, more active, yet still shaped by its manufacturing legacy. Located in Hampton County near Springfield, Chicopee has a population of about 55,000 people and once served as a major textile and armory production center in the 19th century. Today, its industrial base has shifted significantly. The median household income is around $62,000, well below the Massachusetts average. The poverty rate falls in the mid-teens, not among the highest in the state, but still notable. Chicopee presents a unique contrast. It is home to Westover Air Reserve Base, one of the largest air reserve bases in the United States, providing a degree of economic stability. However, the presence of a major military facility has not fully lifted the overall income levels of its residents. If Chicopee still carries the pulse of a former industrial city, Templeton feels far quieter. Located in northern Worcester County with a population of about 8,500 people, Templeton is not a rough town. It is more a place that moves slowly, almost cautiously. Historically, Templeton developed through small-scale industry and furniture manufacturing. One of its villages, Baldwinville, was once fairly active in production. But like many small towns in central Massachusetts, as industry declined, local economic energy faded with it. The poverty rate is lower than in larger post-industrial cities, and crime levels are not particularly high. Templeton's challenge is not danger, it is limited economic momentum. Growth feels modest, investment is steady but not dramatic, and the town often appears to be maintaining stability rather than expanding opportunity. Orange may look peaceful on a map, surrounded by forests, rivers, and the rural landscape of Franklin County. Yet beneath that calm surface, economic pressure is noticeable. With a population of about 3,700 people, the town was once known as Tool Town, for its precision manufacturing industry. When that industry declined, the economic foundation weakened. Today, the median household income ranges between $48,000. The poverty rate sits around 26%, relatively high for a state known for its overall prosperity. That means roughly 1 in 4 residents lives near or below the poverty line. In terms of safety, Orange does not experience extreme violent crime, but its overall crime rate is higher than that of small suburban towns in eastern Massachusetts, particularly in property crime categories. The total rate typically falls around 25 incidents per 1,000 residents annually, with violent crime remaining comparatively low but still above wealthier suburban benchmarks. If Orange feels quiet and economically strained, neighboring Athol tells a similar story, though on a slightly larger scale and with a stronger industrial past. Athol was once a center for heavy tools and precision machinery manufacturing and shared the tool town identity with surrounding communities. When industrial production declined in the late 20th century, the local economy faltered and has yet to fully recover. Today, the median household income is around $67,000, noticeably below the Massachusetts average. The poverty rate is approximately 21%, higher than several other small towns on this list, and significant for a relatively affluent state. The total crime rate generally ranges between 20 and 23 incidents per 1,000 residents per year. It is not extreme, but it reflects the socioeconomic pressures still present in the community. Ware is slightly different. Located in Hampton County and closer to urban corridors like Springfield, it still carries the classic feel of a small New England mill town. Ware grew around textile mills and factories along the Ware River. Like many manufacturing communities, when industry declined, the local economy slowed with it. However, compared to several towns on this list, Ware appears relatively more stable. The median household income is around $45,000, below the state average, but slightly stronger than places like Athol or Orange in certain estimates. In terms of public safety, Ware does not have a strong reputation for high violent crime. The total crime rate typically hovers around 20 incidents per 1,000 residents annually, with property crime being the most common category. That figure remains higher than in affluent eastern Massachusetts suburbs, but it is not considered extreme. Overall, Ware feels like a town adjusting rather than collapsing, steady, modest, and still functioning within its historical framework. If Ware feels like a mill town holding on, Winchendon feels more like a town at the edge, geographically and economically. Located in northern Worcester County near the New Hampshire border, it was once known as Toy Town for its early 20th century wooden toy manufacturing industry. With a population of about 4,500 people, Winchendon has a distinctly rural character, surrounded by forests and lakes such as Lake Denison. The atmosphere is calm, almost secluded, yet beneath that quiet setting, economic challenges remain visible. The median household income is around $55,000, still significantly below the Massachusetts average. In terms of safety, Winchendon is not known for high violent crime. The total crime rate generally falls around 18 incidents per 1,000 residents per year, with property crime making up the majority. At the same time, the town maintains a reputation for a close-knit community and a lower cost of living compared to eastern parts of the state. It feels distant, modest, and resilient, but clearly operating on a smaller economic scale. If we are talking about truly remote communities, Charlemont may be the most removed from the crowd on this list. Its population is under 2,000 people. In terms of safety, Charlemont is very quiet. The total crime rate is extremely low, often limited to only a handful of property-related incidents per year, and violent crime is rarely reported. Within the context of this list, it stands out as one of the safest towns discussed. Economically, its scale is small. The median household income is around $53,000, still below the Massachusetts average, but not as low as several other towns mentioned earlier. The poverty rate is typically near 14%, lower than places like Athol, Orange, or Southbridge. Interestingly, Charlemont is known for outdoor tourism rather than industry. It is home to Berkshire East Mountain Resort, one of the more popular ski destinations in western Massachusetts, as well as whitewater rafting along the Deerfield River. While geographically isolated, Charlemont has carved out a niche tied to recreation and seasonal tourism. After looking at all of these places, from former industrial towns that lost their economic heartbeat to remote small communities still searching for a new identity, one thing becomes clear. Massachusetts is not defined by prosperity alone. Beyond the shadow of Boston and academic institutions like Harvard University, there are smaller communities grappling with poverty rates above the state average, household incomes that lag behind, and in some cases, crime rates that remain elevated compared to wealthier suburbs. Some are shaped by the long decline of manufacturing. Others are limited by geographic isolation. Yet what stands out is that nearly every town mentioned still holds potential. Whether through outdoor tourism, historic preservation, educational institutions, or resilient local communities working toward renewal, worst does not mean without hope. It often means navigating a difficult chapter. The contrast simply reveals the complexity within a state often viewed through a single lens of affluence,